we use the following method of jakarta.soulet.soulet.config interface. To retrieve these parameters in a soulet, we use the following method of jakarta.soulet.soulet.config interface. Say these parameters you can retrieve in a soulet program with that connection established. If you want to change the database, you need to change XML. Then no need to change soulet program. Okay, that is the benefit. First, is it over? Now method I'll give. The interface name already written. So get init parameter. Write this method. Here name of the parameter you have to pass. Here value of the parameter comes. Name of the parameter you have to pass. Value of the parameter comes. So method name get init parameter. First parameter. What is method name? Get parameter. This is get init parameter is there. That is just get parameter is there. Okay. Get parameter method in soulet request. This is in soulet config. Okay. Get init parameter. Here parameter name you have to pass. Parameter value comes. Is it over? Get init parameter. Parameter name we have to pass. Parameter value comes. Okay. See. That is I configured for registration solid. Registration solid. Here now no need to write this one. We can remove. Now these all we can remove because already we written no, in XML. Now first we have to retrieve. What we have to write? Return type string. Suppose S1. What do you write? This method you have to call. This method in which interface? This method in which interface? Soulet config. Here already we have config, no? So config dot get init parameter. Parameter name. What I given there? Driver. That must match. String S2 equal to config dot get init parameter. Parameter name URL. Whatever we given in the XML file, that one must match. Again config dot get init parameter user name. Next x4 equal to config dot get init parameter password. Okay. Here S1. Here S2, S3, S4. Over. Now here if you want to change the database, now which one you have to change, XML or Java? XML. Say right click, run on server. XML also saving, registration solid also I'm going to save. Select the server, next, finish. Restart the server. Say here, homepage.html, registration. Already 3 users are there. 4 users are there. 4 users are there. Now 5th user. Triple E. Now, if I click submit, see, registered successfully. Okay. Now you observe. Now here in this solid program, now driver is not there, URL is not there, username not there, password is not there. Where it is all? XML file. Okay. Now I written as a initialization parameter, but login solid also is there. Login solid, but here also required. Then what you have to do? Again in XML file, here login solid configuration is there, no? Here after solid class, again init param name, param value, init param 4 times you have to write. But suppose 10 solids are there. 10 solids required. What will do? How many times you have to configure? 10 times. Instead of that, context parameter. One time configure, all solids can use. That is. So next concept, context parameters. Note on. Context parameters. You have seen initialization parameters. Okay. See, initialization parameters you studied. Now context parameters. Note. Context parameters are used to initialize solid. Same, purpose is same. See what I given here. Here, initialization parameters are used to initialize solid. Context parameters also same purpose, but only different. It is specific to solid, that is common to all solids. I'll give next, write it. To configure context parameters, we use context param, comma, param name, comma, and param value tags in web.xml. Context parameters are common to all solids. Context parameters are common to all solids. In a web application. Context parameters are common to all solids in a web application. .war file. Context parameters are common to all solids in a web application. So in a war file, in a web application, 10 solids are there. Then 10 solids can use the context parameter. One time configuration, many times many solids can use that type. Example. Context parameters are used to initialize solid. Purpose is same, but only difference, it is common to all solids, that is specific to solid. Example, instance variable, class variable is that type. Instance variable specific to object, class variable common to all object, that type. That type you assume. Okay. Now, like this, we are tried. Now, example. Now, what I'll do is these parameters only I'll change. Init param year. From year onwards, I'll remove cut. I'll paste after web app. Now, here this should be context. Context. Okay. Context parameter you can change. Now, this is outside the solid I written, you observe. Outside the solid. It is common to all solids. Now, it is outside the solid. After web app only you write. After web app. Before solid only you write. Okay. After web app only, before solid only you write. Example. Again, no need to write complete. These all optional. Write remove. Write this one. Example. So that is where we ought write. That you should know. After web app only you ought write. That is after solid class you ought write. This is after web app tag only we ought write. So first web app, after web app only context parameters you ought to write. After solid, no need to write. So before solid tag you are right, after web app tag you are right. That place important, that location important. Init parameters, initialization parameters where you are right, which after which tag? After solid class, before solid close. Context parameters after web app tag, before solid opening only, before solid opening only. That's what. After remaining, no need to write, dash write it here. So before solid only you write, after web app you write. After web app, before solid. Is it over? Driver, URL, user, password. Now I configured as a context parameters. Okay. Is it over? No done. The above initialization parameters common to all solids like login solid and registration solid. Only two solids are there. The above initialization parameters are common to all solids in that application. The above context parameters, sorry, initialization I given context. The above context parameters are common to all solids in that application. The above parameters, the above context parameters can be retrieved in a solid by using the following method. The above context parameters can be retrieved in a solid by using the following method of Jakarta dot solid context interface. The above context parameters can be retrieved in a solid by using the following method of Jakarta dot solid context interface. Jakarta dot solid context interface. Is it over? Method name, same method name is there. Interface different. Method name same, no change. Method name get init parameter only because this is also initialization only. But interface name different. It is context. That interface name config. Same method name get init parameter. Same is there. Parameter, return type, everything same. Here name of the parameter you have to pass. Here value of the parameter comes. See, you studied already object creation order by web container. Object creation order by web container. You studied, no? Remembered or forgot? First, which object created? Solid context. First, solid context. Second, the object creation order by web container. 4 steps I given, 4 lines. For first, second, third, fourth. First, solid context. Second, user defined solid. Third, solid config. Fourth, solid request and solid response. That order. Now, solid context, when it is created, whenever web application is deployed, then only created. That is for common to all applications. Next, user defined solid when it is created, when first request comes. When solid config is created, whenever init method called. Init method, when how many times called? That is one copy created for every solid. Solid request and response, every request. If 1000 requests mean 1000 copies created. Okay. Now, context one for all complete web application. Config every solid different. That's what the memory is different. I'll give notes that one also. I'll give again. Now, here context parameters common to all solids in a war file. Now, in that war file, how many solids are there? 2. Login solid. Both can use now. But how to use? First, context required. Now, context required. How to retrieve context parameters? See. Here. This is config. Now, context required. Solid context, some sc equal to config dot get solid context method is there. After getting with sc, with this sc you have to call sc dot. Like this. Now context we have to import. Import it. Now if I run, little bit change. Right click, run on server, save. Now see here, homepage.html, registration. See, successfully executed. You got a registration 6FFF. Now login. Login also you can modify. What you have to write here? First, solid context sc equal to config dot get solid context. So with this config, we are getting context memory. After this, string s1 equal to sc dot get init parameter, because method name same is there. Here, driver. Next, string s2 equal to sc dot get init parameter URL. Next, string s3 equal to sc dot get init parameter username. It should match. If you write user, write username. Okay. Get init parameter password. Okay. Now, then we have to remove this S1, S2, S3, S4. See, now you can run login program also works. If you want to change the database, where you have to change now? XML. Now, context parameter, one time only. Now, homepage.html. Say login. See, clear? Now these programs, these concepts I have to explain. Now next write it. Is it over? Next write it. Solid config versus solid context. Solid config versus solid context. One side solid config, one side solid context. Solid config versus solid context. First, it is created by web container. When it is created, whenever init method is called. It is created by web container whenever init method is called. Context, whenever application is deployed, deployment time only. It is created by web container it is created by web container whenever web application is deployed. On server. It is created by web container whenever init method is called. It is created by web container whenever web application is deployed on server. It is created by web container one per solid. It is created by web container one per web application. It is created by web container one per web application. So this memory, it is specific to solid. This memory is specific to solid. This memory is common to all solids. So some memory allocated on that memory is specific to solid. This memory is common to all solids. It is used to retrieve initialization parameters. It is used to retrieve initialization parameters from web.xml file. It is used to retrieve context parameters from web.xml file. This memory common to all solids in a WAR file. In that WAR file only. Other WAR file cannot access. This memory is common to all solids in a WAR file. Other WAR file cannot use. Is it over? Say, config is created by web container whenever init method called. Context is created by web container whenever web application deployed. When you click on deploy button, context created. When you click on deploy button, only context created. That is entire application same memory. That is one per web application. That is to retrieve context parameter we use. But this is whenever init method called. But every solid init method will be there. No? That's what every solid separate. Config is every solid separate created. That is used to retrieve initialization parameter. That's what it is specific to solid. That memory that solid only can use. Other solid cannot use. But this memory, all solids in that WAR file can use. That's the difference. Now, these programs you didn't write no solid programs. That's what solid config example. Okay. Otherwise, solid config example. After that, solid context example instead of left side, right side. No, solid config example. Right. Only just init method code I'll give. Now, solid config example. Ready soon. Solid config example. It is solid config example. Context example I'll give. Context example. Say public void init config. Only this part. The remaining code same. Login solid, resistance solid already written. No? In that you can attach. Is it over? So here using solid config reference, we called init get init parameter. Okay, this is config example. But context, you have tried another way. So next solid context example. Solid context, one line extra. Config dot get solid context. Here config context reference. Here you have tried SC. Remaining same. Right, this one. Solid context example. First, we have to retrieve context. With that, we can access. But method name same. Get init parameter. So you have seen request parameters. You have seen initialization parameters. You have seen context parameters. Request parameters, we are retrieving from HTML page. Initialization parameter, context parameter from XML. Now, if you want to change the database, what you have to change? XML file. Servlets are now database independent. Your servlet programs are database independent. Any database. Servlet program, one character also no need to change. Okay. Tomorrow, servlet forwarding, servlet including, servlet redirecting, these concepts we'll see. Tomorrow we'll see, Ganesh. SQL Plus is not showing in laptop, Himanshu. That means Oracle not installed. Yeah, notes I'll share in Google Classroom. Context parameters, notes. This is context parameter nodes. Next, login program. Yeah, annotations also we can use. Getting blank page means you have to check the request parameters and database fields. MySQL separate jar file is there. Abhishek, for this error, you copy OJDBC 6_g dot jar or 8_jar in Tomcat lib folder. Yeah, parallelly you can learn Spring. OJDBC 6 is not there. You take OJDBC 8_g. If you are getting blank page means that is your mistake only. HTTP servlet request error means you need to configure server first. Namespace also one concept. It is module type. Only error in build path, error in servlet program means I cannot give answers. For learning Spring Boot, Spring basics required. OJDBC 8_g, some differences are there. You take 8G or 8_g. If it is working, continue. That is Oracle related. XML file, Bhuvaneshwar Rao. You click on source. There, source and design will be there. I think you open design. One tab will be there. Tab. Source and design. Here. See, source, it is design. It is source. It is design. Now, any other doubts? Now, we'll see continuation tomorrow.